Hi folks, so in this video what we're going to do is we're going to complete the second half of this desk tidy object. Where in the first video we did we made the cube, and then in the second part of it we added on all the holes for the various pens, pencils and rulers to go into. Now what we're going to do is, that was on the top portion. On the bottom portion we're going to add in a little section here for a rubber, and we're going to add in a little section here for a pencil sharpener. Okay, and then after we do that, we're going to add fillets to it, appearances, and we're going to put in a little logo here at the front of it as well. Okay, so starting off, what we're going to do is, now if that's the top of it, well, if I rotate around, this surface here has to be the bottom, opposite the top. So I want to do a sketch on the bottom surface. So click on the bottom surface and click on the sketch icon. Okay, now you can see the surface is fully selected there when it's blue. If you click anywhere on the screen once, it will go kind of dark again, and that is the bottom surface. Now we're ready to do a sketch, so we're going to go up to the sketch tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to grab a line, but specifically we're going to grab a center line. So I'm going to grab a center line, and I want to start my sketch on the edge of the base. Okay, so you'll see there when you highlight over the edge it will go orange. Click once, let go, do it roughly. Okay, don't worry, just kind of have it up in the top portion and go over to the opposite line. Make sure it's a horizontal line like this. Click, the line is still active. Press the escape button, bottom left or top left of your keyboard to deactivate it. Now I want that line in an exact position. I want it to be 25 millimeters down from the top. So if I go to my sketch tab, I'm going to do the exact same. I'm going to go click, and then I'll click on this line here, and that will give me a dimension between the two. Click again, 2.5, enter. My line is in the right place. Now I want the exact same on the opposite side. So I'm going to get that line again, center line. I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure it's a horizontal line. Click, escape to deactivate, sketch smart dimension, click, click, 25, and there we go. Now, having got those two lines in, I'm going to bring these dimensions out here. What I want to do in the top portion is I'm going to make a slot for a rubber. So I'm going to go up here to my sketch tab, and I want to grab a center rectangle once again. Okay, so just make sure it's a center rectangle you grab, and I'm going to go in here to the center point of this line here. So you'll see there in the middle you'll get this little node there. Click on that. I'm going to make a rectangle. Now certain conditions of that rectangle: smart dimension, I want the length of it to be 60, and I want the width of it, or the height of it in this case, to be 25. Okay, now we've got the shape of our rectangle, but what I want to do now is another little tool here in the sketch tab. We've talked about lines, we've done circles, we've done rectangles here, and we've done polygons. I'm going to get onto this icon here, which is a sketch fillet. So if you click on that icon there, sketch fillet, it'll say entities to fillet in here, but my dimension here, I'm going to change my dimension there to a 5, just for the moment. Okay, click enter. And now all I do is, if I want to fillet something, that means give it a rounded edge. So instead of having this sharp, see there when I click on the corner, or when I highlight over the corner, it'll give me the rounded edge. So if I was to select that, come down here and select this one, they will both fillet. And then I could select this one and this one. I could alternatively then, I could actually just change the dimension to maybe a 10. You'll see it'll get bigger. However, the dimension I want is a 3. Press 3, enter. And now I'm going to go over to this one, click, and this one, click, and click on the green arrow to accept. Okay, and there we have it. There is going to be the slot for our rubber. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to our next line, and what we're going to start is we're going to start making our pencil sharpener. And going to click on the green arrow. I'm done with my sketch fillet. I forgot there, I'm just going to add in another center line, and we need to do a center line from the origin going down to the base here, right into the center. Click on that, press escape to deactivate it. There's no need to give that line a dimension because it came from the origin and it went into the midpoint of this line here. Okay, so what we're going to do, if I just come out here and I have an image, we're going to use one of these pencil sharpeners pencil sharpeners here as an example. Okay, so it's fairly rectangular, but there's a little bit of a curve here that we're going to try and implement into it. Okay, and there's lots of ways you could go about sketching this. I think the most effective way is we're going to actually make a quarter of it, and then we're going to use a tool here that we haven't used yet, which is the mirror entities. We've used offset, we've used the linear sketch pattern, and now we're going to use mirror entities. So Before we use mirror entities, we have to actually make something that we want to copy. So I'm going to start here with a line, a normal line now, not a center line, a normal line. So in here, about this position here, it doesn't really matter where. I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to do a line up, click, and then across to about there. And the line is still active. I need to deactivate the tool. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Smart Dimension. I want the height of that line there to be a 7. I want the length of this bit here to be a 5. And then the other thing I want with the line is I want the dimension from this line here to this. I want the gap between them. So I'm going to click on this, then click on this, and that will give me the space between the two of them. And I want that to be 12.5. Okay, and I'm just making sure of my dimensions here. I have a pencil sharpener here. I'm just going to check that to be 100% certain. So bear with me there. Yep, 12.5. Absolutely perfect. Okay, now that I've done that, I want to deactivate my tool, and you can see my lines are fully defined. Now I need the little curved bit inside here. So to do that, what I'm actually going to do first of all is I'm going to put in this little point here. See this little point? It's a little tool. Click on that. I'm going to zoom in, and not in line with this, but on this line, but down a little bit, so it's below the height of this point. Down here, I'm going to click. Okay, the tool is still active. To deactivate it, press the escape key, top left of your keyboard. Now I need to dimension. You can see it's in blue, so it's underdefined. So if I go to my sketch tab, click on Smart Dimension, I'm going to click on the point, then click on this line here, or the little node, and I want the height difference there to be a 5. Okay, press escape to deactivate. Now what I want is a curve going here. So the tool I'm going to use here now in the sketch tab is this guy here. It is called a 3-point arc. Now you have different tools there. You have a 3-point arc, you have a center point arc, and you have a tangent arc. Actually, the one that I think I want, I'm just making sure this, is it a center point arc? I think it's a center point arc. I'm going to click on this one. I'm just going to check. And what I want to do is I want to do an arc between this point and this point. I'm going to click. Sorry, not a center point arc. Apologies. It was a 3-point arc. Need to go back here. So 3-point arc. I'm going to click on this point. Then I'm going to click on the point I want to join it to. And you can see here we can kind of make different curves. I could have it going upwards like this. Could have it going downwards like this. Now we only want it to be a gentle curve. So I'm going to zoom in here. I want to make something like that. Don't have it kind of peeking down like that. Kind of something like that there. Okay, press escape to deactivate it. Now you'll see that the center point, okay, I want this center point to be in line with this. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to click on the center point, hold down the control button, bottom left of your keyboard, and click on this line. And I want them to be coincident, in line with each other. And there we go. When I made them coincident, you can see here it's after mapping onto it, and now my sketch is fully defined. Okay, so we've got 1/4 of our sketch. Now what I want to do is I want to take these, I suppose, entities, these lines and curves, and flip them over onto the opposite side. Okay, so just pull that up there, just so it's out the way. So to do that, I'm going to go up to the sketch tab, and now we're going to practice using mirror entities. What it's going to allow us to do there, you can see from the image, is we're going to copy a sketch over from one side, over an axis to the opposite side. So I'll click on mirror entities. The things I want to copy go on this icon, so entities to mirror. If that box is highlighted blue, click on the lines you want to copy. 1, 2, 3. They're the 3 lines I want to copy. Now, if I click on this icon, mirror about this box, I need to select the line or the axis that I need to mirror it about, which in this case is this one. Click the green arrow to accept. Okay, there's 1/2 of it. Now I need to flip the whole thing over onto this side over here. So I'm going to use this line as my axis. So once again, sketch, mirror entities, entities to mirror, select all the parts that we need now, and select the mirror about box, and this time I'll select this line. And there we go. Now, sometimes this will happen where we have to just dimension the arc, okay? So click Smart Dimension, click on the arc here, dimension that, just accept it for what it is, no need to change it, click the green arrow to accept. And there we have it, okay? So there we have the slot where our rubber is going to go up into, and we've got the slot for our pencil sharpener. So to actually fit that inside it now, what we're going to do is same like we did up here, we're going to do another extrude cut. So, features, extrude cut. And the distance I want to go up into it is, I'll go bigger than that, I'm going to go 20. Nice and big so it would have plenty of space. And click the green arrow to accept. Okay, and you'll see there's our slots underneath it. So the idea is that the desk tidy will be sitting on your table, and if you want to access the rubber or the pencil sharpener, you just have to lift up the little block and they will be hidden underneath. Okay, so that there is our kind of desk tidy taking shape. We've kind of done the main geometry. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add on a little bit of text. So to add in the little text, I'm going to do that on the front face. So I want to find my front face. Is it this one or is it this one? Okay, these would be the side ones here. All right, but I want to find the front one. Is it that one or is it that one? So I'm going to press my space bar, and you'll see here we've got little window options here. Now what I often like to do is you could click the front there and that'll bring you straight to it, but what I like to do is click on isometric, and then I know that based on the look of it here, this one is actually my front. Okay, but I'm actually going to use this one this time. Space bar, click on front. There's my front. Okay, and we can see it there. So if I click on the front, I want to do a sketch there. So click on this and click on sketch. Now to deactivate the surface, all you do is you click anywhere outside it. It'll go back to grey. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little sketch on that, and we're going to name it a desk tidy. So to do that, I'm going to go up to my sketch tab, and I'm going to select a line, but specifically once again a center line. I'm going to come down here to the middle and click on this, go over to here and click. Press escape to deactivate the tool. The line is fully defined because I stuck it onto the middle points of the edges. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I just simply want to write the word desk tidy. So if we go up to our sketch tab, you'll see here you have a little symbol for text with the A. Click on this. Now the text I want to write, I'm going to write it in all black capital letters, D-E-S-K-T-I-D-Y, desk tidy. Now it's going to, you can see here it's after populating in there. However, I don't want it down there. I want it to sit somewhere on this line. So to do that, up here where it says curves, I'm going to select, click on the box, click on the line then. Now it's gone into the line, it's over here to the left hand side, so you have your kind of format options here. This is a line left, a line center, a line right. That would be right, but we want it nice in the middle. Now I want it bigger than that, so what I'm going to do, you could also select these where you could invert it. Now I don't want it like that, so I want this one. You could also flip the words the other way around. Now that's backwards, so I'm going to go back this way. Now instead of this font, I'm going to go back in here. Instead of says use document font, I'm going to click this off. I'm going to type on or click on the font icon here. So you have to deselect this and click on font. Now in here you'll have a list of fonts. Now I like this one here, it's called Rockwell. And I think it's Rockwell Nova, so it'll usually change when I select it. Didn't actually do it there. We're going to select Rockwell Nova. Condensed is fine. Size wise here, I'm going to change this to 15. I'm going to see what this looks like. Okay, that's actually perfect. So it went 15. Now if I wanted to change that, okay, let's say I was finished with my text and I clicked the green arrow. There's the text, but if I wanted to change that, all you can do, you can see when I hover over it goes orange, all you have to do is double click. It'll bring you back in, you can go to font, you could change your font. Okay, if I change it to this, you'll see it's kind of gone. So the fonts will change kind of depending on the sizes that you do as well. Now I didn't want that one, so I'm going to go back in here to the Rockwell. Okay, and let's say I wanted a 10. There's my 10. And you could call it desk tidy like that. I think that's a little bit small, so I'm going to go a touch bigger. I'm going to go 12.5. There you go. I think that looks kind of nice. Alright, you could go up to 15, whatever is your preference. Okay, click the green arrow to accept. Now there's my desk tidy. We would not dimension something like this. For text you would not ever be required, it's just after coming in fine, but you can see it's under defined because I haven't put any dimensions on it, and that is far too complex for me to go off dimensioning. But I have it in there and I have it in the middle where I want it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that sketch, which is the text sketch, to cut the words into the block. So if I click on features, click on extrude cut, you'll see they're actually cutting in. Now they're cutting in far too long into it. I only need to go in about 1 millimeter. So click 1, it'll only barely go into the object. Click the green arrow to accept. And there you go. Desk tidy is now in our object. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add an appearance to it. Okay, actually before we add an appearance, sorry, we're going to add a fillet, and then we will add the appearance. So there's our desk tidy. Now we're going to add nice little rounded edges here. So if I go to features, you'll see in features we have this option here to do a fillet. Now there's two options. You have a fillet, which will give a rounded edge, or a chamfer, which will give kind of a straight line edge, an angled edge. Okay, I'll do the fillet one and then I'll do the chamfer. So if I'm doing a fillet, click on the fillet icon. Fillet options will open up here. Now you have different types of options. This one here is a constant size fillet. This one here is a variable size where it can go from small to big. This one here is a face fillet where you would actually select two faces, and this is a full round fillet. Now we're just using this one, the constant size fillet, which is the most commonly used one. Symmetric is fine. Size wise here, I'm going to set the distance at a 5, just for now. Okay, and what that's going to allow me to do then is I can fillet the edges. Now you can do this two ways. You could either select the edge, and you can see there it'll go nice and round. Okay, and when you select an edge, it'll go in here, items to fillet. If you want to click on that and delete it, it will get rid of it. You could do it a quicker way, and you could simply select the face. Hopefully this will work here. Now because my desk tidy is in the way there, I'm actually going to have to select the edges on this face. Okay, you can see there, and I can do it on this face here and this face here. Selected the opposite side by accident, and there we go. So all my faces are now filleted with nice round edges. Now based on that there, you can see that actually looks quite good. If you wanted to change it at this point, you could change the dimension here. Let's say I go 10, and watch how it will change on the screen. Now it's gone very close to there. The 10 is probably a little bit close, so I'm going to change the 10 down to maybe somewhere between 10 and 5. I'm going to go 7.5 and press enter, and I think that looks quite good. I'm going to click on the green arrow to accept. Okay, so there is our desk tidy, where we've got all our holes on the top, we've got our label on the front, we've got our slots at the bottom for the rubber and the pencil sharpener. All we have to do now is we have to apply appearances. Okay, but before we do that, a couple little options up here. In this little option here, which is the display style, you can see mine here. When you click on this, there's about 5 display styles. This one is called shaded with edges, which is the one people most commonly use. You have this one here, this is shaded on its own. So what's going to happen when I select that is all these kind of lines will get rid of, and it kind of gives you a little bit more realistic version of what it looks like. But the reason we like the shaded with edges is because it kind of shows us all the details in, I suppose, a little bit clearer. Then you've got line diagram, then you've got hidden detail, showing how far the holes are going down into it, and then this is just another kind of line diagram as well, a wire diagram, I think it is, wireframe, yes. Now before I move on, that's kind of how you change those. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in a little bit of appearances. So to add an appearance, okay, I'm going to go for a wood finish. All I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, or sorry, not right click, click on any face of the object, and you'll see here you have a little icon with a color wheel on it, not copy appearance, but this one here for appearances. I'm going to click the drop down arrow, and very important here, see this word here, it says desk tidy. If I did face, it would just do the individual face. If I did boss extrude, it'll only happen for what I did the boss extrude 1 on. Okay, body it'll probably work on, but I'm going to click the desk tidy. Okay, so click on desk tidy. Now if you go up here, you'll see this little box will open up on the right hand side. You've got scenes, decals, appearances. We're just going into appearances, so click the arrow here, and then you have different types. You go plastics, metals, paints, rubber, gloss, solids, lights, fabric. Now where is wood? Wood is under organic, so click on the drop down arrow. There's wood, water, gemstones. Click on the arrow beside wood, and you've loads of different types. Now I'm going to go with a oak, and then you'll see as I select them here, if I just click on it, it'll change. You'll see they'll slightly change. This is a polished oak, satin finished, slight difference in the colour. Okay, now you can see it comes in with the wood grain for a lot of them. It doesn't happen for all of them. Polished oak end grain. See, it doesn't work for all of them. See there, that one now it doesn't really come in, it's just polished oak. Okay, polished Japanese oak, and so on. Varnished. Right, so I like these ones where it shows this, so I'm going to go with satin finished oak end grain. Okay, when I click on it, it should change, and click the green arrow to accept. Now, that's my desk tidy. I'm going to go out to this one. You'll see I'll have a little issue here where I won't be able to see the text as clearly. When I go to this one with shaded, the text is kind of hard to see there. You can see there in that view it is there, but it's hard to see depending on the view that you're looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a little bit of colour inside there. So how do I do that? Well, that step, if we go back here, on your design tree here, you could go through the stages of what you did. You could pull this guy here, it's a rollback bar. You click and hold it, and you can pull it up. Stage 1, we made the cube. Stage 2, we cut the holes into the top of it. Holes aren't in the bottom yet. Stage 3, cut the holes in the bottom. Stage 4, we put in the word desk tidy. And then stage 5, we added on the rounded edges fillets. And then we did the kind of appearances. Now I want to add an appearance to this stage, which is technically, if you see there, I click on it, it's called cut extrude 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is, if I click on this, you'll see a little appearances guy will open up again. Okay, and all I'm going to do is, I'm going to click the drop down arrow, and this time I'm going to click specifically on that step, the cut extrude 3. And all I'm going to do is just change the colour. I'm not going to go over here playing about this, I'm just going to change the colour. I'm going to go with a dark colour here. Click on that one, you can go fully black, I'm just going to click on this one, and click the green arrow, and there you go. That there is our desk tidy, and it has just affected the cut extrude step. Okay, you'll see there it's gone kind of nice and dark on the inside of it with all our details. Okay, that's pretty much our object done there. Okay, obviously you could play around with the different types of fonts you want. You could play around with the different types of kind of colours and woods and different types of materials. Absolutely fine, whatever is your choosing. Okay, but all you have to know is once you click on any surface, if you go up here to the appearance tab, you can either select an individual face, you could select a step, and then the body and the desk tidy, because we only have one body here, they will change. Now that we'll get on to later on in other videos where you use this multi-body approach where you can colour just one body separately. The very last thing that we would do is we would rename our features here. So step 1, this here. This was, if I pull the rollback bar back, this was making the cube. So inside here, all we're going to do is, if you click on this icon here and press the F2 key on your keyboard, it'll prompt you to change it. And now I'm going to leave the boss extrude at the front of it, but I'm just going to say cube boss extrude 1. So that was the step, at least I know that was the cube step. Okay, here we have stationary slots, top. Okay, so click on it, press F2, and I'll actually say top slots. Okay, step number 3, these are the bottom slots. So click on the icon, press F2, then we have bottom slots. You could say base slots, bottom slots. This one is obviously the text. Click on it, press F2, desk, I'll say text actually. Text, cut extrude. And finally, fillets. Okay, no need to rename that. Fillets are just fillets. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. So there we have the desk tidy. A nice little exercise there whereby we made a cube, simple boss extrude. We also practiced some cut extrudes, and more importantly there, we practiced a lot with our sketching tools, and we did a linear sketch pattern for all these guys. We did mirror entities here, and we did mirror entities down here. Okay, then we changed around with the fonts and things like that as well. Okay, so that there, guys, is a desk tidy project. Really quickly, all I would do now is you go File, then you would go Save As, and you would save it into wherever it is. Now I have this done a couple of times, but this one here is specifically called Desk Tidy Video. For the purpose of the video, I have a file saved as that. Click on Save, and save it into the correct destination. That there, guys, is the Desk Tidy project. Hope you found that helpful. Okay.